What is the highest amount of money you ever paid for a Magic the Gathering card?
$800,000.
Look at you, $800,000.
It was an artist print, Chris Rush signed Black Lotus.
But why is a piece of cardboard worth such a vast sum of money?
And then the other one is, holy boosh! That's a freaking Black Lotus!
Magic the Gathering is a massively popular collectible card game enjoyed by over 40 million players worldwide that generated over $1 billion in revenue in 2022. And Posty is a massive fan of the game, even going so far as to appear in some of the most popular internet content for Magic. In the game of Magic, players summon powerful fantasy creatures like demons and dragons, cast spells, and tap into the power of legendary artifacts like the Black Lotus. Even if you've never played the game yourself, you might have heard of that last one. The Black Lotus is the most famous Magic the Gathering card ever printed, perhaps for the sole reason that it has garnered ridiculous prices at auctions over the years.
You'd be looking at $50,000 to $75,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
In 2021, a copy sold for $511,000, and another sold in March of 2023 for $615,000. Magic the Gathering, the grandfather of trading card games, launched at Gen Con, a massive gaming convention, in 1993. It was the most popular game on offer that weekend, with people playing games on the floor and every bit of product selling out. The original printing of Magic the Gathering, known as Alpha, was a massive success and became the seeds for what would ultimately become a 30-year history, and counting. Thanks to our knowledge about the size of the original printing of Magic's first set back in '93, collectors are very confident that there were only 1,008 copies of Alpha Black Lotus ever printed. However, to meet demand of the instant hit they had on their hands, Wizards of the Coast, the company behind Magic, shortly followed with a beta printing, putting another roughly 3,300 Black Lotus into the market, and with Unlimited shortly after that, they printed another roughly 20,000 copies. But if Wizards of the Coast printed 25,000 copies of Black Lotus in the early days of Magic, what's stopping them from printing more and just bringing the price down? In comes the reserve list. In response to the continued demand for Magic, Wizards of the Coast released more reprint sets, including 4th edition and Chronicles. However, powerful cards like the Black Lotus were left out of these sets. Cards in 4th edition and Chronicles were also differentiated from other releases by a white border, and it was thought this would be enough to help the original printings of cards retain their value and collectability. But what sets Magic apart from other collectibles is its popularity as a game first. And since those game pieces were made more readily available, despite the white border policy, card prices tanked and collectors panicked. To alleviate their concerns and stabilize the secondary market, Wizards of the Coast quickly announced the reserved list policy, promising to never reprint cards from the earliest Magic expansions, including the Black Lotus. So there were roughly 25,000 copies of Black Lotus printed and would theoretically never be printed again. But why did the Black Lotus of all of these end up being the face of expensive cards and the most sought after in the game's history? There were tons of rare and powerful cards in the original set, Black Lotus being just one of a group of 9 cards known to Magic players and collectors as the Power 9. Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, Time Twister, the 5 Moxes, one in each of the game's 5 colors, and of course, the Black Lotus. It's not just Black Lotus's rarity, it is the literal most powerful card in the game, period. The game of Magic is built upon a resource system called mana. Each turn, players can play a single land from their hand that can then be used once each turn for the rest of the game to play their cards. So on turn 1, you'll have 1 mana, turn 2, you'll have 2, and so on. This gives the game a sense of escalation as players play stronger and stronger cards that cost more and more mana. Black Lotus throws this whole system out the window. First of all, you can play this card from your hand for free. Then you can activate its ability once to generate 3 mana of any color. This would allow you to play a powerful spell way before your opponent, giving the Black Lotus player a massive advantage. And paired with other powerful spells, it is even possible to win on just the first turn of the game. So the Black Lotus is both exceedingly rare and the most powerful card in the game, but a quick search on TCG Player, a marketplace for collectible card games, sees listings for only a few $1,000s depending on the version. Why did the Black Lotus, purchased by Post Malone, carry an $800,000 price tag? Although he doesn't mention it explicitly, the only way Post Malone's Black Lotus would carry such an absurd price tag is if it's a graded card. It's not enough to have a copy of a rare card. Collectors want that card to be in as pristine a condition as possible. If you open a rare trading card like a Black Lotus or a first edition Charizard, to see if it's really worth the big bucks, you'd have to send it off to a third-party company, PSA being the most reputable, to get it graded. They will look for a few factors to determine the card's grade on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 of course being the rarest and most valuable. Things like its general condition, scratches and smudges, but also factors completely out of the collector's control, even if it was booster pack fresh, like the vibrancy of the colors, how sharp the corners are, and the centering of the card in the frame. It is more than likely Post Malone's Black Lotus is a PSA 9 or 10 to command its $800,000 price tag. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. If you thought the original Alpha Black Lotus was rare, the version Post Malone bought was an artist proof. These are special versions of a card printed with a blank back rather than the regular Magic back. These are given to the card's artists to do with as they please. They aren't tournament legal, but thanks to their rarity, they have become popular collectibles in the Magic community. It is believed that only 50 Black Lotus artist proofs exist, given to Christopher Rush, the artist behind the now famous Black Lotus painting, making them significantly rarer than the 1,008 that were printed in Alpha. Post Malone's copy is also signed by the artist, who unfortunately passed away in 2016. Is it crazy that a piece of cardboard can be worth $800,000? Just wait until the literal one of one, the One Ring, gets opened in a booster pack this summer. That might just be the card that dethrones the legendary Black Lotus as the most expensive Magic the Gathering card of all time.